Now, it has been a week of celebration for the Jubilee Coalition following the termination of the case against Deputy President William Ruto and journalist Joshua Arap at the International Criminal Court. But whether the ruling marks the end of Kenya's quest to pull out of the ICC is another matter altogether.
No sooner had the Uhuru Ruto camp lifted the 2013 trophy than the Jubilee Brigade trailed their guns proper at The Hague for what would in the next 3 years be a nasty war of words with the International Criminal Court, demanding for the country's total pullout from the Rome Statute over the crimes against humanity trial that was at the time facing President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto.
The war with ICC is not ending any time soon, because if we have to continue engaging with ICC, we have to engage in new terms.
So they'd like to prove that ICC is dead and see the coffin of ICC lowered. And they are done.
But with the country's head of state and his deputy now technically free from the jaws of the ICC, analysts argue that the ruling coalition is caught in a dilemma whether to advance in its plans to divorce the ICC, since the Uhuru Ruto predicament at The Hague, which saw the top Jubilee leadership marshal the African Union to walk out en masse from the ICC, is now out of the picture.
Sisi mwaka huu tutarudi tena Assembly of State Parties, lakini haja yetu tunaenda na amendments ya kubadilisha ICC ndio isiendelee kuwa kangaroo court.
The battle with ICC goes on because the Kenyan people, through their representatives, constitutionally lodged a motion before the national parliament.
ICC, we are giving you a window. Talk to Kenya, negotiate with Kenya, and you are going to survive. But if you don't negotiate with Kenya, I can assure you, once that motion comes to parliament, we are going to pass it.
But even after Ruto and Sang walked free earlier this week, 3 Kenyans stand accused of interfering with prosecution witnesses. These are journalist Walter Barasa, lawyer Paul Gisheru, and casual laborer Philip Bett. But unlike during the Ocampo 6 trial, the 3 who have arrest warrants hanging over their necks seem unassured of any government assistance to battle their trials.
Bensuda wachane kujaribu kusema nishikiwe watu watatu ati wali interfere with witnesses. We must tell her, forget about following Gisheru, Bett, na ule journalist mwingine Barasa, wachana na hao watu, kwa sababu kesi ilianguka si kwa sababu ya hawa, ni kwa sababu kesi haikuwa.
But I think ICC will be logical enough to also terminate the summons that they have issued to Baraza and the other 2 Kenyans.
To give those people every legal support ya kuhakikisha kwamba they are not oppressed in another country.
Early this year, the African Union adopted President Kenyatta's roadmap for withdrawal from the ICC without any amendment, a stance that reflected the continent's opposition to the ICC handling of the Kenyan cases, while many argue that Kenya's petition at the Assembly may have been the key factor that persuaded the appeals chamber to block the prosecution from using recanted evidence in the Ruto Sang case.
Our being there, our continued support for the Rome Statute needs to be relooked.
Na kesho kutwa na kesho ingine, je, tukichagua rogue president, what will happen? What will happen? Kanisa nauliza. Na naona wajumbe wenzangu wanacheza tu, tutoke Rome Statute. How?
Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.